fuck? Halloween's over. So tonight's movie that I'm going to be talking to you about is called Antiviral, and this film is essentially a satire on a celebrity-obsessed culture. In this film, um, if a certain celebrity has a certain kind of virus or sickness, anyone who idolizes that celebrity and has enough money can get the same virus that they have. So, say if Jennifer Lawrence had herpes on the right side of her mouth, you could have it injected into the left side of your mouth so that it can be like she kissed you on the lips. And in all honesty, I think that there are even people in today's world who would be willing to do this to themselves if the market was available. I mean, I remember a while back I heard about this guy who had plastic surgery done just so he could look more like Justin Bieber. I mean, how obsessive can you get? Oh my god, speak of the devil, I have just heard that Justin Bieber has anal shark herpes. I will be right back. Okay, now it hurts to sit now. Ugh, damn. Okay, this doesn't feel much better. Then again, it couldn't get much better than this. Okay, so joking aside, the main character in Antiviral is one of the people working at this clinic where people are able to get their viral infections. And he's also sort of a scientist who is able to tweak these infections so that they won't be contagious to outside people. They'll just be exclusive to the people who are paying to get them. And it is pretty interesting seeing how he works and everything, but the character himself is not likable or charismatic in the least. I mean, he's like the guy who would be sitting by himself in the lunchroom or break room for good reason. I mean, you might sit across from him or next to him out of pity or just because there's no other seat available until he looks you dead in the eye and says that he wishes he was one of the donuts in that shop that Selena Gomez went to, and then you'd pick your food up and move to another seat. In layman's terms, the main guy is creepy with a capital C. Also, this movie has a pretty interesting aesthetic to it. They strip away a lot of the color from the picture so that it's almost like you're watching a black and white noir thriller, only in this case, I guess it would technically be more of a Blanc thriller. And I say this because if white is your favorite color, then you are going to love watching Antiviral because a lot of the shots in this film are just pure white porn. I mean, imagine the Trix Rabbit pouring a bottle of milk onto a stack of print paper. By the way, I haven't even gotten into the reason I wanted to watch this movie in the first place, and that is the name which was attached to it, Brandon Cronenberg. Now, David Cronenberg, his father, is one of my favorite horror filmmakers, and the reason I don't say one of my favorite filmmakers overall is because after a while he of course dropped his signature style of body horror to do these more artsy films, which aren't really to my taste. I mean, if you like them, that's fine, but once again, I prefer his older films, and now his son has come into the game to kind of continue the tradition of his father's former style. And yes, as can be expected, especially from the synopsis, this film does have some pretty gruesome imagery. If you hate needles, you might want to avoid this picture because you do, in fact, see a lot of things being done with needles, especially at a point towards the end of the picture, which is particularly painful to watch. And the body horror aspect does get pretty creative at times. Like, one of my favorite scenes in the film visually is this nightmare scene involving the main character. And then there's another scene right at the end of the film which presents you with this very bizarre and disturbing imagery. However, in between these two scenes, the film kind of drops the whole body horror concept and becomes more of a straight thriller, which would have been totally fine with me if the main character had been just a little bit more interesting. Um, I mean, I can't hate him enough to really enjoy what I'm seeing, and at the same time, more obviously, I can't like him enough to feel sorry for him. I do like the fact that they chose to make a bad guy the main character, but he doesn't show even the slightest hint of possibly going through a character arc. Maybe if they had shown just a glimmer of hope for the character, it would have made the story a little more interesting, but he remains essentially the same type of person all the way through. And in the end, that's kind of what killed the movie for me. I mean, it is very well acted and well shot. The special effects are great, and I love the concept of the film, but really, I can't see myself visiting Antiviral a second time. I mean, and it's not even for the same reason as Martyrs, where it was too brutal. It's just that the whole thriller aspect to this story wasn't that thrilling for me. However, I can see other people possibly enjoying the film more than I did, so if you are interested in seeing younger Cronenberg's work, by all means check the movie out. It's definitely not bad for an early effort. Anyway, that's all I've got to say for this review. I hope y'all have a good one.